Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you're all doing excellent. Today, we're working again on the new right-hand drive FC. Today, I'm very excited for the little project. What I'm looking at doing today is getting these works wheels off the car. They're very cool, they're real three-piece. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them yet, but they've seen better days. As you can see here, down here, and especially this one. So, not too minty. Also, these front tires are 215s, and the rears are, let's see, 225s. Right there. We're going to be changing back to our MSO1 rep wheels. These are the spec ones, and we got great Hankook Ventus V12 Evo 2s. We're going to put two 45s on the rear and two 25s on the front. And when we get back in there with the wheels off, we can look in here and inspect a few more things. And there is coilover suspension on this car. It's pretty bouncy and it kind of makes a lot of noise, so I know it's old, but I'm excited to see what kind of suspension it is because I haven't been able to look under there and see anything besides that the bottom is green and the top has camber plates in the front. Most likely Tane, right? Most common in that color, but the green doesn't quite look like it, so we'll see. So we're going to check that out, and I'm going to see if I can pull today as well the other green suspension we have. Pull the Fortunato 500 series off the other FC and put them on here because I can't wait to drive this thing around with those, because this is, right now it's really bouncy, and when it bounces, like, the rear tires skip as well because there's not a lot of travel, and I get this weird thing where I think that the throttle position sensor is too sensitive for that rough of a drive, so it hesitates when it bounces. The whole thing, so it's shuddering. Other than that, it's running great. So I'm going to take a look at that, and we'll see what else we can get into as we go through the project. So I'm going to go get this jacked up, pull the suspension off the other car, get the wheels in here, and get ready to go. I'll be right back. Okay, so been working for a little while. Got the fronts up, got the, oh yeah, this side I already put the Fortunato on, but figured out a lot of things. The wheels that are on it are not that much thinner than the ones I'm putting on, but they have a bit of stretch on the tire. You can see that, like from this angle, you can see the stretch. So that's kind of cool, so those might be useful. Still with a good amount of grip. There was two sets of spacers behind them though, which is what pushed them out. So the offset on these is much better. And it was Tane suspension, and they are ruined. Here's the spring and what's left of the spring perch grommet there. I mean, they might be salvageable if I can get them lubed up, but these threads are super degraded on the locking collars, and I don't know how far, like, what is going on there. But camber plates might be good. We'll see. I'll just toss those on the side of the house for now. Lots of corrosion down here, but you know. Anyway, so over here I'm just waiting for my compressor to repower up because I got a pretty bad leak, so can't hold compression and keep working. But got our Fortunatos in there. Just going to tighten them down on the bottom. And then what's cool is there's actually endless braided lines on here already, which is cool. I'm very excited about all the JDM parts I'm finding on here. So we got our Blitz blow-off valve over there. We got a trussed shift knob. We got endless braided brake lines. We got a Pexi intake. So pretty cool. So I'm working on this side. Just got the busted. Same situation over here on the Tanes. So obviously if they're compressed, I guess the springs would be touching, but they're supposed to be like compressed even outside the car. So I think the struts are blown, they're worn down. So anyway, it's going to be great getting the Fortunatos on there. So I'm going to keep cracking away, get these slapped on there, and then get back to you once I get the beautiful wheels on there and lower it down. All right, we got the wheels on, looking good. The wheel gap there is a little higher because I've already jacked the back up, but definitely more gap than with the other wheels. But obviously I can adjust these coilovers, but I'm gonna let them ride around for a little while. And I need to get in there and work on the brakes. If you saw when I had the wheels off, if you were paying attention, those rotors are done. So I need to get in there and change that, work on that a little bit, clean up those brake calipers, make them look good. And it'd be a great time to drop it just a few inches, but I'll go ahead and move on to the back now. Whew. Got the wheels and spacers off the back. It's been a few hours because, of course, a bunch of the bolts are, the nuts were seized on the spacer, and I ran to the auto parts store to get a 6.21 millimeter instead of the 12, and I forgot my wallet, of course. Luckily the guys there know me because I'm there so often, so they're just like, yeah, just bring it back or come and pay for it next time you come by. So shout out to you guys, thank you. All right, now let's try and get this suspension off. Hopefully no more seized bolts. The nuts. All right guys, we struggled through. We now have the Fortunato 500s and the Spec 1 wheels on. So I'm gonna go ahead and lower it right now. We'll take a quick look. Ooh, let's see. I like the fitment on these wheels. And I like a little bit thicker tire, especially on a street car. So that's awesome. Up here is going to need a serious alignment. Don't know if you can tell. And let's see how we look over here. Yeah, we need a four-wheel alignment, but that's expected, and I obviously wanted to get the wheels and tires done before scheduling that. So right now I'm gonna take a quick break, take my dog for a walk, and we'll take her for a test drive when I go return, or actually I'm just gonna pay for that socket they let me borrow from the auto parts store. So, be back. So I decided to wait and get an alignment before giving you the review of the suspension. When I mentioned before earlier in the video that it definitely needed an alignment, and when the camber was so positive on the passenger side wheel that the car would just pull left, and it was crazy. So it couldn't really get a good driving experience. Plus the toe was so far out on the rear wheels that you could just smell tires after driving for just a few miles. So decided, no, let's get an alignment, which I did, and that was a couple days ago actually, and it's been just so hot here. It's been like 104 degrees, and this car has no AC, so I haven't wanted to do anything. But the heat broke last night, and we have a nice cool morning right now. It's actually foggy out, so I need to go get some fuel and run an errand or two. So I thought, perfect time. Let's take the FC out before it gets too hot, and let's see how it goes. So far so good. I mean, the alignment's great, thank goodness. And when I was on the alignment rack, of course, the starter gave out. So it had been having trouble starting. You try and it would do, so we thought, oh, it's battery. But battery was fine. I think they changed the battery and the belts and stuff just before they brought it over to the US, and because the battery looks brand new and everything was fine with the charging system, and so it was a starter. Got the starter changed out, now it fires up as soon as you touch the ignition part with the barrel, and yeah, it's perfect. But anyway, so far I'm just cruising right now. Suspension feels great. It's still got the stiff spring rates, so, you know, so it's 8K front, 6K rear. It's still a streetable suspension, but you can feel, oh, there was one. You can feel every little detail on the road, which is still good when you want to drive spiritedly and everything. But of course, if you guys have watched the channel for a while, you already know what the Fortunatos are like. And I mean, I do really enjoy them, but it's a long shot better than what was happening before. It was still rough and stiff, but it was also like bouncy. So you'd hit a bump, you'd get jostled, and then you'd around like that. So luckily that has stopped, and feels much more stable and planted. Car sounds good, nice and tame, quiet sound, but still get some turbo with the blow off, blitz blow off valve, which is a cool sound. So once she gets warmed up here, and I get some gas, I'm gonna go ahead and throw her through an on-ramp or an off-ramp or two and see how it feels with the tires and the suspension setting. That's one of the great benefits of living in Southern California. Mexico's so close, so we just got to rip it around a little bit. I'm not going full speed into things, obviously, because you know I'm just on surface streets in Mexico, but also the brakes need some work. They work, they're safe, but for spirited driving, you know, they're old, they have nice endless braided brake lines, as we discovered, but losing the camera. They need better pads, the rotors could be better, so they just don't give you the best feel, and it takes quite a bit of standing on them to make them stop the vehicle. So anyway, just testing out the suspension on some turns, pulled some pretty good G's, I think, lateral, and it feels great. Tires feel great with these Hankook Ventus V12s, and the Fortunato feels wonderful as well. So I'm excited as we're making little progress on this car. It's turning out to be a really, really sweet car. With the resources we have, we've been able to make it look really good and perform really good very quickly. Excited to start working on power mods, but we still have a few more restoration style mods before we get to that. But you guys know the drill. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Stay kind to each other out there, and when they ask you, tell them you want more.